the sweetness of faith when you start to enjoy these acts of worship, which is a possibility, of course. It's not impossible.
So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back on the Deen Show. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasul.
All of the prophets would have been labeled Muslims because this essential message was the same message: submission to the will of God. This is God talking to you directly.
How could I stand behind the pulpit on Sunday morning and preach a sermon that I knew was at variance with the actual taproot of Christianity?
Back here on the Deen Show. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam.
All right, now we're talking about submission. So either you're going to submit willingly, and a lot of things you're having to submit already. I mean, you have to take the call of nature. You have to go to sleep. So would you call these forms of submission in a sense?
You have to follow some kind of law, either laws of nature, laws of gravity.
Gravity,
you
yes.
know? So nobody's just totally free.
There's the law of the land.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
What's wrong with saying, you know what, people feel so comforted sometimes and very excited to say, I'm a law-abiding citizen. But what's wrong with saying or feeling like, you know what, I'm a person who abides by the law of God.
That's the best.
Law, that's the best.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
That's the way to go.
You know, but there's a problem here. Now, you know, we talked about you're happy and you're voluntarily submitting to the latest fashion. You don't want to wear hijab, but you'll put on, you know, the clothes of the latest celebrity, what's on the front cover of the magazine. You'll do that, and you'll submit to what they're leaning you to submit to, pulling you to.
Right.
They're like hypnotizing you. And over here, you're having a hard time submitting to what Allah told you, put the hijab, for instance. Or you're having a hard time fasting, but now for that tournament or for that other, let's say, modeling career, you're fasting to lose weight, you see?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you're doing other things 5 times a day, but you're having a hard time doing the prayer 5 times a day. I'm just giving these examples, but so here you're submitting in one way, but to something that's going to give you ultimate success in paradise, you're not. Why is this?
Well, let me start with a quick story. Many decades ago, when I was a young man, there was I got pulled over by a police officer, and I didn't have the appropriate sticker on my windshield. I didn't know which which color and all that stuff. But it struck me that this officer was really, really upset. I mean, it's not your job to be upset. I mean, your job is just to say you don't have the right color sticker
and
give me the ticket and say, okay, make sure you put the right one on. But he was so angry that I didn't have the right sticker on there. And I was thinking, look at how immersed he is into this law, how much he believes in it, to the fact that he's offended that I don't have this pink sticker or the green sticker. I mean, take it easy, akhi. But people can get so caught up in these things, but at the same time, perhaps, I'm not saying for sure, but perhaps that same man would overlook so many of the rules and laws of Allah Azza wa Jal, but he gets so angry about this little sticker. And it goes back to what we're saying, that if you don't submit to Allah or to the law of Allah, you're submitting to something at some point or another. It could be as ridiculous as the green sticker versus the pink sticker, and you get upset about that. So the truth is, you're going to have to submit, and you're going to submit to something. Or if you don't, like, it's funny that in the end you're going to be brought back to what you were running away from. Like in this, the scholars it would say, like, that if you don't walk to the masjid when you hear the call for prayer, if you don't walk to the masjid, you'll be carried to the masjid. It doesn't mean anyone's going to force you and carry you to the masjid. It means you're going to die. What are they going to do? They're going to wash you and bring you to the masjid. And they're going to pray over you. So if you don't come and pray, they're going to pray over you, and when they carry you and bring you into that masjid. So you're going to come in there anyways. It's inevitable.
How about the woman now that doesn't want to?
Yeah, I mean, like you'll find one time this woman told me that, before I put on hijab, I was saying over my dead body that I'll put this hijab on. Which hijab basically is the veil, which is a piece of cloth. And I told her that's the truth. I mean, it would be over your dead body. You would die, and then they'll cover you with a piece of cloth. Then they'll bring you, pray over you, and put you in a hole in the ground. This is the reality of the situation. You know, I mean, in the end, it's linked to paradise or the hellfire, may Allah forbid, which is not something simple. So your obedience, it also has something to push you, to motivate you to obey Allah.
That's the thing, next question. How do you get motivated? There's something within. Is it something, some people, is a deficiency in the law now, which there's no way that can be, or is it something within the person that a person has to adjust their way of thinking. They have to go ahead and fix what's in themselves so they can get to submitting?
Well, it could be 101 different things. And that's why when you look at the way Allah will like get us to do something, well, Allah will motivate us into action. He will do it in many different ways in the Quran. Sometimes He'll tell us the benefit of doing something. Sometimes He'll tell us the harm of leaving it. Sometimes He'll tell us the harm of doing it. Sometimes He'll tell us the benefit of leaving something. Sometimes He'll tell us the reward in the akhirah, in the next life. Sometimes He'll tell us the reward in this life. And everyone, a different one of these things might strike the right chord, as they say, with that person. You know? So it's not like there's a specific formula. You say, well, this is how you stay away from your desires. This is how you... It's not always that scaring people with the hellfire is what will work. Sometimes you tell them about paradise and that will motivate them into action. So everyone gets something different and is motivated by something different.
They're signaling that we're almost out of time. If you can give some advice to those people, the sincere people who are having some issues with this state of being a true worshiper, a true slave to the one who created them.
Okay. I also want to leave with the thought that you are to submit to Allah, the one who created you, and the one that He commanded you to obey as well, which is the Prophet ﷺ. Over 60 times in the Quran, Allah will command the believers to obey the Prophet ﷺ. And sometimes He'll even equate obeying the Prophet to obeying Allah. So He will say, مَن يُطِعِ الرَّسُولِ فَقَدْ أَطَاعَ اللَّهِ. Whoever obeys the Prophet, he has obeyed Allah. So He made them almost equal in this sense. So everyone has the desires, everyone has what will pull you in this direction or that direction, but we recognize that we're slaves of Allah Azza wa Jal, that He owns us, He tells us what to do, what we can't do. He is the one who gives us everything that we have. So when He tells us to do something, we try to fight against our desire, fight against whatever is pulling us and of material love of this world, and obey our Creator, because there is a greater reward coming, far greater than this dunya, and that's something that we should keep in mind, inshallah.
May we all be there in the lights
Ameen.
of paradise. Ameen. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khairan.
My pleasure.
That's what we should be striving for. Paradise. This life is short. Where will you live? 10, 20, 30 years from now? You can die at any minute. And at the end, you were a slave to everything except who you should have been a slave to, the one who created you. He's asked you to do something simple, to worship Him alone, to serve Him alone, and to be good, to be the best human being that you can be, to be in a constant state of development, to being the best human being that you can be. And that's not going to be achieved by following your desires. It's going to be achieved by following your Creator and the last and final messenger sent to mankind, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Come back here every week to thedeenshow.com. You can visit us on the new blog section to get all of our shows. Also, on audio format, we have Volume 2 of the new DVDs for Dawah, along with Volume 1, that we encourage all the different masjids, organizations, Dawah affiliations, Dawah MSAs to get these in bulk and to share this message of peace, Islam, submission to the one God.
I came from a science major. When you look at the Bible and it says the earth has 4 corners, that's wrong.
If any Christian can point out a single unequivocal statement, a single unambiguous statement, where Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, himself says that I am God, or where he says worship me, I am ready to accept Christianity.
It's cold, it's late, everybody's sleeping. I arise and ask Allah to forgive me. Oh Allah, you see, oh Allah, you know all the sins I do. I turn to you to forgive my sins in my heart. I'm your sinful slave, you're my loving Lord. I'm the one who runs away, oh Allah, guide me.